First rates, brand new week, first rates. I actually want to start with future group of companies and then Reliance. Reliance will be flying high, thought as much. It's a sum of parts story, and the underlying valuation for Reliance sum of part has actually increased because of this. That's one. Second, well, future retail and other future group of companies definitely will be in high demand today, but future enterprises where all these companies would be merged. And the important point here is that what you would be left with after the merger goes through may not be all that exciting. But I want to look at banks which have high exposure to future group of companies. That includes an RBL, Axis Bank, it also includes IndusInd Bank, and then also ICICI Bank. Let's look at where some of the banks are. Axis Bank is off to a good start, RBL is off to a good start, and ditto when it even comes to IndusInd Bank. Then the third layer which I want to find out, which I want to just revisit, is what is happening to the telecom names. AGR, the final decision has to come because Justice Mishra is going to retire very soon in first week of September, so he has to give a decision. Vodafone was mighty excited on Friday. It's up another 5%. Now 5% for a stock which is a 10 rupee stock is not great, but Airtel, I guess, is clearly succumbing under pressure, and it's been one of the ranked underperformers in this market. So if I have to pick the pockets of high activity, a lot of excitement, future group of names, the spill through effect on banks, and then ahead of the AGR verdict, it is Vodafone once again, which is in a sense getting disproportionate amount of attention.
Yeah, that it is. Seeing quite a smart follow through from last week when it held out by 15% on Friday, another 4.5% pump up coming in for Idea right now. IndusInd Bank sitting right on top there, a fabulous last week, and pushes another 5% higher. And it's quite remarkable considering you had that FTSE clarification saying that they will not be including an IndusInd, HDFC Bank and Kotak now into their key indexes. Just a knee-jerk, and that downtick got lapped up by investors. So, good show of resilience. And you can say that about banks today as well. As I see on my screen, even a PNB is holding up 4%. Axis is climbing high. Canara Bank is looking good by about 3.5%. Bandhan Bank is holding out well. ICICI Bank is up 2.25%. By the way, finally it makes it to 400 plus ICICI Bank after a long wait. 420 is what ICICI Bank is nudging now on futures, and IDFC first as well makes quite a smart dash this morning. On the flip side though, NMDC after a big bang last week cools off a little bit, so 4.5% lower there. PVR, GMR Infra, Godrej Consumer Products and Jubilant Foods, which also had a very good last week, that also is taking a bit of a step back. But CK, great start, 11,776 here, good market breadth and price action once again all in banks.
Absolutely, Aisha. I think, a robust start for the week, and I think creating a lot of cheer, but follow-up to such a good start is very, very essential. So the gap is big and the gains after the open are large, so therefore that has taken away a chance to buy at the open and then seek to profit from there. I think if one has to do that, then one really has to confine oneself to the financial space. You can look at that by the difference that the Bank Nifty is showing compared to the Nifty. The Bank Nifty is 2.6% up compared to just about 0.8% up for the Nifty, showing you where all the action is. And if you look at the list of gainers, that is, I think, completely littered with the banking and financial services names. So that's where the action is. And how long can it last? I think as long as the catch-up scenario has to play out. Now, whether that will play out first in Bank A or Bank B, I have no idea. That we'll have to keep track as the day unfolds. But as things stand, it is the financial space which is really dominant today morning, and wherever there is room, we'll have to look at it, by every individual chart and its merit, and then only go to buy or sell it. I don't think there is any other sector holding a candle to the financial services space right now, so let's all concentrate there. My pick for buying would be Shriram Transport, which I recommended in the morning. Federal Bank is another one which looks good. Axis Bank is something that I would have a follow through buying, and perhaps Kotak Bank on a little bit of dip is the other one that I would look at.
All right. Thanks for that, CK. Ajay Srivastav also joining us this morning. Ajay, good to have you with us. Let me start off then from the center of action at the moment, and that seems to be the banks once again. A lot of question marks on the way ahead from here, starting to gather traction once again, but we're also now seeing the close of the moratorium. So unclear really whether or not we will see any kind of stress build up. What's your sense, Ajay, when it comes to some of the key banking names?
ICICI move to sell the shares again in ICICI Securities tells the story that, at least for that bank, is going to be a story of keep divesting of its subsidiaries and booking profit. So obviously they're creating cushion inside, even after the issue they have made if they're selling off ICICI Securities to book profits. So obviously there is a dollop of bad debts or at least provisions coming their way. So to that extent, I think market is now started to value for some of the companies like SBI and ICICI, the breakup value to say that given the subsidiary value, whatever it is, your bank intrinsic value is next to nothing, or at least was next to nothing. And the fact that they are divesting it with ICICI means that monetization can happen, and therefore there is cushion for the bank. So I think there are two separate examples there. One is intrinsically strong bank. Second is ICICI SBI, which have got subsidiaries. And the third is a whole bunch of smaller banks. Now that is where you pick and choose. Is it the time to go into the smaller banks? I guess not. Is there arbitrage for the PSU banks? Perhaps yes, in a bank like SBI and an ICICI, HDFC, of course, is the portfolio. But one can now safely argue the fact that possibly, and I think possibly the fact that the re-rating of some of the banks with good quality subsidiaries is taking place at this point of time, and that is what is leading the charge. IndusInd, of course, had gone down so much that, as they always say, there's only one way but up. So I guess that's what's happening in IndusInd.